After World War I, the fall of Germany dealt a heavy blow to its country. The German Empire had no longer existed and it was replaced by Weimar Republic. An extremely poor republic, the treasury was empty, the sovereignty was losing value, and Germany needed to pay its war debt and a huge reparation bill. This thing happened because of only one paper, the Treaty of Versailles. The Treaty of Versailles was signed on June 28, 1909. It was a significant treaty standing for end of World War I, but it wasn't a fair treaty for all of the country, at least not for Germany. In Article 231 in the Treaty of Versailles, it closely obliged Germany to recognize its full responsibility for launching the war. The country also restricted Germany's military capability, allowed it to cede territories, and forced them to pay huge indemnity. Even though Germany changed from the German Empire to Weimar Republic, the big loop of the economic still could not be fixed. On the Third Reich's rising, the National Socialist German Workers' Party's rising. You might feel unfamiliar with this name, but you must know its second name, the Nazi parties. There was a man who wanted to be a pastor when he was young, failed to join art college twice, and got temporary blindness caused by British poison gas during World War I. He was Hitler. After World War I, Hitler found his interest in war, so he joined the Nazi Party when he came back from war. In 1919, Hitler became the most competent speaker in the party and served as a member of Guardians Committee. The Weimar Republic was weak. The citizens lost their faith in the republic and the government. Hitler sensed that it's a good chance to rise a new party in Germany, so he started to convince the citizens of Germany by having speech at many places. Hitler used his charisma, way of speaking, and Nazism, which is a form of fascism. The main idea of his speech will always be around one point, which is to promise the citizen that he will make Germany great again. Without doubt, his idea was supported by many citizens in the Weimar Republic. The rising of Nazi was very fast. Before the global economic depression, the Nazi Party only had 3% in Congress voting. But in 1932's election, the Nazi Party got 33% in voting, which was higher than any party. So in year 1933, January, Hitler became the Prime Minister of Germany and started the period of the German Reich. After Hitler became Prime Minister, in his speech, he aimed to abolish the Treaty of Versailles army restriction. But he didn't just say it, but didn't put any action. On the day October 14, 1933, in Hitler's command and the result of referendum, Germany withdrew from the League of Nations. He started a political war of nerves and his diplomacy began. Hitler noticed the problem of religion as well. In the 1930s, there were 20 million members in Roman Catholic. In the year 1933, July 20, Cardinal Algeria Patri from Vatican Secretary of State and Germany's Vice Chancellor Franz Papen signed a contract between the Holy See and German Reich, which named the REICHSKINKORDAT. Hitler thought that he won the approval of church and it made his Nazi regime begin international recognition. The next problem that Hitler needs to face is the living space dispute. In Hitler's autobiography, Mein Kampf wrote his idea of living space policy, which is to occupy the Soviet Union and dispossess the Russian inhabitants, expelling most of them to the Ural Mountain or exterminate them. So he tried diplomacy with Britain by using the name of anti-communism. In the March of 1935, Hitler was invited and met the foreign minister from Great Britain. It was a successful meeting. In the same year, June, the Anglo-German Naval Agreement was signed. It allowed Germany to own the Navy, but the proportion can only be 35% of the British Navy scale, and also allowed Germany to violate the Treaty of Versailles as appeasement. As the Treaty of Versailles said, a line then in Germany cannot be armed because it's close to France, Belgium, and Netherlands. But on March 7, 1936, Germany violated the treaty. It certainly caused some chaos on the diplomacy level. This decision made French and British in a dilemma. Earlier, on 1935, March 8, Hitler declared that he already had an air force, which was prohibited in the Treaty of Versailles. He also made a statement that the conscription system will be re-enabled. The thing that Hitler did made the Treaty of Versailles totally meaningless. So France, British, and Italy opened a stress front for this Hitler's behavior. As the information said, on March 7th, Germany reoccupied the Rhineland, but no country focused on this. France was focusing on its own political crisis and the Maginot Line. In Britain, the citizens' anti-war awareness was strong, and they thought that the Treaty of Versailles was unfair to Germany. One more reason was the British government decided to do nothing about it. After 2 months of Hitler becoming the Prime Minister of Germany, he gave the cabinet the power to enact laws for 4 years without legislative consent. In fact, power was given to Hitler and made Hitler a dictator for all intention and purpose. Hitler monopolized Nazi Germany using fear. As the Nazi consolidated political power, other parties were outlawed or dissolved themselves. Hitler also used terrorism to achieve his purpose. Tens of thousands of unemployed young people who were enticed by salaries, pure consciousness, and stylish uniform wore brown shirt and long leather boots from Nazi squadron. The assistant police called SA used violence against those who opposed the Nazi Empire while walking down the street and murdered some. Germans who did not support the Nazi were also forced to remain silent because of fear of SA. And that's the reason why the event the Night of Long Night happened, which was the cause of purging the anti-Hitler forces. The first cause that led to World War II on January 26, 1934, German-Polish Non-Aggression Pact was formed. It would keep Poland's ally, France in check, because Poland and France have military alliance, but under the influence of World War I, France has a defensive strategy. Hitler knew this situation and sought to conquer Poland after Czechoslovakia and Austria. So when Hitler expanded the living space to Czechoslovakia and reoccupied Rhineland, Neville Chamberlain, the Prime Minister of the UK, invited Hitler to join a four-way talk with Mussolini and Edward Daladier. 1938 September 30, Chamberlain and Hitler signed an agreement named Munich Agreement. It was a successful meeting for Chamberlain because Chamberlain returned to UK and showed the citizens that peace declaration was written with Hitler, saying there would be no war, peace will continue, and as a result, it was under pressure from Britain, French, and Czechoslovakia government accepted the Munich Agreement within 6 hours set by Germany. On the same day, Britain and Germany also signed a joint declaration, demonstrating their determination to deal with all issues in the relation between the two countries through consultation, and never go into the war with each other again. On December 6 of the same year, France and Germany also signed a similar declaration. It was decided to give Germany never the Sudeten region of Czechoslovakia, which was Hitler's purpose. But it wasn't successful in Czechoslovakia. On the evening of September 28, the Czech government issued a statement agreeing to cede Czech territory where 50% or more of population is German, but protested against the requirement for a referendum in an area where there's no German majority. And representative of Czechoslovakia didn't attend the conference because of Hitler's rejection. People who saw Hitler in person, such as Chamberlain, said he was not a lunatic, but a rational and determined person. Rather, people like Churchill, who had not met Hitler, thought of him as a villain. Speaking about the debate, it's really not Hitler's thing because he can't debate with a clean mind. His words were full of hatred and preconception, but at the same time, these were also the reason why Hitler could succeed when he was doing a speech at the beer hall and got 1,000 of followers and cabinet. The last informal debate that Hitler had, and it's the thing that is relatable with the betrayal of Himmler. When Hitler knew Himmler was a traitor, he was so disappointed and angry. After a few days he died because they knew that Germany didn't have any chance to win. April 29, 1945, a few days before Germany's defeat, Johann Rathenhuber, the SS general, went to Hitler and told him to escape from Berlin, because the survival of Hitler is very important for Germany. But Hitler rejected him and told him that he didn't want to fall into the Soviets' hands. General Helmut Beitlin, command of Berlin, told Hitler that the last chance to win is to lead the Berlin force and try to break through. But Hitler said that is impossible, because soldiers are hopeless, tired of fighting, also with poor equipment and ammunition. Then Beitlin suggests Hitler escape Berlin with the rest of the force as well, but Hitler rejected also. In 1945, Hitler ended his sinful life. From my personal perspective, the last debate he had was the only debate that he did with a clear mind. He keeps giving pressure to German Catholics after the agreement. He showed his real purpose after a friendly meeting with Chamberlain. Yes, he won his last debate, but what were the consequences?